Felicity from Felicity Duke Sewing, and I'm back with you today to show you what I've made out of my brown collection. Hopefully most of you have seen my previous video where I showed the fabric that I was going to make up into a nice cohesive collection, and I think I've done pretty well. You know, you win some, you lose some, don't you, when you sew. Right, so let's start with my favourite trousers almost of all time, or pants. Trousers, pants. In the UK here we call them trousers, but you know, we're getting used to this pants thing now. So I've made some Arthur pants. Now this isn't the first time I've made the Arthur pants. I was just really happy for the chance to make another pair for this collection. So let me tell you about the Arthur pants. They're very big, they're very wide, they're very baggy. They have a real drop crotch to them. Now the difference is, what I do with mine, I always put a yoga band on my trousers because quite honestly, I'm not comfortable with a waistband. All right, so that's these are the Arthur pants. They've got a pocket, okay, and most interestingly, we have a flat fell seam down the centre of each leg and the back. You may find it interesting to know I have just done a sew along for the Arthur pants, and in my sew along I attach this type of yoga band, which isn't in the instructions. I'll tell you the what the choices are when you make the pants. So let's get that back up there. These are my old Arthur pants. Now there are two different methods here. I'll get off of my pedestal in a minute and I'll put this closer. There are two different ways to make the Arthur pants. Now you can either do a waistband and a fly at the front and elastic at the back, or you can do elastic all the way round. Now because I like my trousers in linen and different weights of linen, it isn't practical, as I found out the first time, to actually do them in elastic, because it's too heavy and too thick and it's very uncomfortable around your waist. So that's up to you, but certainly in the summer when we're into some lighter weight fabrics, that would be great. Now as I say, I have already done a sew along for the Arthur pants, so pop over and have a look at that. That should be uploaded tonight. Yes, so the Arthur pants, very inclusive sizing. It goes from a size 0 to size 30. So that's brilliant. So Arthur pants, love them, my favourite. Okay, my favourite pants. Give them a go if you like a loose baggy pant. The nice thing about Arthur pants is that they come round like this, okay, at the bottom, so you've not got this wide piece flapping around that you trip over. Well, I do anyway, but then I trip over everything. So there you go. So that's that for the Arthur pants. Right, so next we have this. Now some of you will remember this fabulous material. It is actually vintage. The inside is fleecy, so I think that possibly at some point it was used for pyjamas, this type of material, but it's too beautiful to wear in bed, isn't it, really? Can you see it? Beautiful. Now I don't wear any clothes that go straight down because my body shape is not suitable for that style of clothing. I like something to be A-line, or you know, even out more than A-line, of which this is. Now this you could wear it as a jacket, or you can wear it as a top in the evening with some lovely white pants in the, you know, in the summer, just to cover yourself up at night. yeah, I really love this. It's ever so heavy. Can you see how heavy this is? I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, fabulous. Now this is a hack between two patterns. I'm trying not to make anything that you can't get the pattern for. Do you understand? Like Arthur Pants is so liberated, by the way, so all the information will be in the description below. I'll put everything down there for you, everything I've used and anything I can think of that you might like to know about. All right, so that's that. The only thing that was a bit disappointing, I'm a bit of a stickler for matching patterns, but sadly I didn't have enough material to match properly, and I love this sleeve. Now this sleeve comes from a dress which I made in the summer, and it's actually this sleeve I have on now, and some of you will recognise it as McCalls M7969. I think the world and its dog have made this year, this pattern. Okay, I will get it up on the screen anyway. So that's the sleeves, and I did a hack with this one, on which this one is Butterick 6056, and I did a hack with this one. Okay, I will be doing more sew-alongs, and I'm going to do a sew-along for this as well. This pattern, I think, well, I've got a large XL, it's quite old this, but they do have it because I checked before. And this one goes up to, let's see, what size bust? 46 to 48 bust this goes up to, and obviously goes down to the lower sizes as well. So super thing. I plonked some gold buttons on it, and for those that watched last time, you will know that I'm just using up my stash, and so I can't go out and look for buttons. I don't even want to buy buttons on the internet. I don't want to buy any fabric at all. I need to get through it, all the stuff that I've got. I've got some beautiful fabrics, but over the years I've had my own business, which I still kind of have got, but I'm not working, and this was my time to make clothes for me. So I'm focusing on quite a lot the Delightfully Plump, which is me. Okay, so there's that one, and that goes lovely with the brown trousers. And as I say, I realised that brown actually was in fashion again, so that made me happy. Out came all the brown stuff, and anything that went with brown, I'll get it underneath. But you can see, fabulous. Right, okay, so let's go on to the next one. I'm going to do a sew-along for this one with the hack to the sleeves, okay? Now this you might find interesting. This is a twin set, my type of twin set. I don't know if you can see this. Let's get off my pedestal. Can you see the little flecks of gold in that? So it's quite an evening-y type of thing, well, really, but I shall just wear it during the day probably. Right, so this is lovely batwing sleeve. I like a twin set. Now I do like a twin set, but they're all short and tight, and that isn't my style. I like to be loose. I need to be comfortable all the time. So there you go. Now that's also that's two patterns, so I will tell you what they are. I will also, this is a stretch. I didn't make it with a pattern that needs a stretch, by the way, but I've used this pattern a lot, and as I say, I don't like anything which goes straight down, and this one is quite a nice shape. Yeah, it's got that kind of A-line shape to it. Right, so I'll tell you what patterns I've made used for those, and I'm very happy. You'll be able to see all the pictures on the screen of me wearing these things. Yeah, let me get the patterns out for those that I used. So I used, let me see, I used this one for the cardigan, which is Burda B6056, which has been around quite a lot, but it's still available. There you go. And the other one I used was we can find it. There we go. Love this one too. I've used this such a lot. And this is McCalls M7960. This one. Okay, now, although it doesn't say you can use it for knit, I've always used it for knit. I mean, this is my third twin set, my type of twin set. The third one I've made. I use knit for this, but I do use a band around here, band around the bottom. Or no, I didn't. I just turned that one up, and the cardigan has a band on it. So this one, as I say, is McCalls 6960 and goes up to a size 26. And that's the cardigan, and that goes up to, let's see what half of the stuff's come up from this. US size 26 goes up to 26 to 28. Not helpful, is it? But you know, it does go up quite high. And yeah, you know, these Burda patterns are so irritating because most of the information you want is inside on the patterns. So anyway, those two, you may find me on YouTube doing a sew along for this as well, for the twin set. If you'd like me to do sew alongs for some of these, then please let me know, okay, in the underneath where the messages are. Right, so where are we? Oh yes, little t-shirt, same pattern I just showed you, a little white tee, not tight around the bottom, nice shape. That's the same pattern that I just showed you, which was this one, which is McCalls 6960. I didn't have enough material, so I had to put a seam down the back, but no one's looking. I shall keep walking forward and not turn around. Right, now probably the most successful one of these, and I'm sure, as I say, a lot of you must have seen the fabric I was showing you before, and to see them made up now is probably quite exciting. Well, it is for me anyway. Okay, so this one, look at this beaut. Isn't that gorgeous? A very loose, boxy jacket, my style, with a bit of trim, fur trim around the neck, around the collar, some leather buttons down the front, and some very interesting pockets. Now, sadly, this pattern is discontinued. It is a pattern that I've been using for a very long time. This is the jumbo cord that I showed you. It's an unlined jacket. I don't like anything too heavy. A very light jacket is fine for me. Otherwise I get a bit hot and bothered. And particularly wearing a mask these days. Oh, out with big coat and mask on. No, not for me. Right, okay, so now sadly the jacket is discontinued, and it discontinued. I've looked everywhere to see if I could find this pattern. It is Burda 8143, and as you can see, I've had it a very long time. So I'll just get off the pedestal. So let's just say I lost big time on one of them. Now, if you remember, if you saw my last video, you will know I had some satin. This is the satin. I also had some of this, which I was quite excited to find in my stash, which was satin through a kind of net. And I was hoping to put these two together somehow. So I managed to find in my pattern stash this pattern. So I put the stripe down the centre here, down the centre. Oh crumbs, did that look dreadful. Now I have to admit that the pattern itself says to use stretch knit. I didn't, but it didn't make any difference because it's so huge, but it's lovely. I do love it, but this does not look right on me. And so having put all that fabric down the front here, I then realised that it stiffened it and it looked dreadful. So I then had to cut it off right the way along the seam here. So there's bits of it stuck here. I'm going to give it a go again. But you know, it wasn't just the style. I mean, I'm quite fair. And if I went out in it, it would look like I haven't got anything on, really. So it wasn't a good move, but I was just finding fabric that would go with brown, and of course it would go with brown, but it just was not for me. But I'm going to give it another go because it's quite an interesting shape, isn't it? I think it's quite nice. Right, so that pattern is HotPatterns. Now, if you're not familiar with HotPatterns, I do use a lot of them because they do a lot of loose-ish type of styles, which I like. And this one goes up to a size 26. But it's so huge. It goes, the circumference is, bust size is 52 inches. But you know, really, you could use this for a much bigger bust than that. Yeah, I'm going to give it a go. Give it another go. Right, so that's that. I hope you're impressed or like what I've made here. I enjoyed doing it. It's something that I can sew, obviously. I haven't had the time in the past, so I'm now going to get on with another lot of clothing. All right, for you to see. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'll do 2 weeks of sewing. So I've brought down some bits of fabric which are quite exciting. I've got a single knit here which is very thin. It's very, very, very thin. You can see through it. But I've got an idea for that. I have an idea. So just just bits and pieces. I've got a few bits of black in here. There's some nice stretchy here, which is lovely and soft, beautiful. I like this. I buy a lot of fabric from India, by the way. There you go. Look, that's paisley, a type of paisley. A bit of stretchy black I've got here. No idea what I'm going to do with that. Look, how about this? How about this then? Look at this. How about this then? Can you see it? It's so super, super, super soft. I've got to make something out of this. Some sort of jacket or a coat or something. It will be loose though. It won't be fitted. It will be something very loose. So yes, love that, love that. That's got to be used, hasn't it? That has to be used. And this, can you see this? This is going to have to be some sort of an evening thing. I don't know where I'm going to go and wear it, but I think I may use that. I don't know what I'm going to use yet. It'll be a surprise for you, won't it? So there's that. It'll be a surprise to me too, quite frankly, because I don't know what I'm going to use either. And there's a bit of devore here, bit of burnout. Can you see that? I know what I'm going to make with that. There's no dresses on here, so I guess I'll start making a few dresses. So that will be the next thing to make. But of course, nowhere to go to wear them. And there's the bit that I had last time. So I'll find something to make with that. That's got a slight stretch to it. Maybe I'll try this top again with the stretch. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to use stretch with this, you know, a jersey or something. So the only part that didn't work, because I didn't use stretch, was really around the neck, because it didn't mould around. You know, obviously I've done this on a bias. I've done a bias strip round there, but when it comes to gumming round here, the back tends to stand up, and although I pulled it to try and get it to lay down, it didn't happen. So Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. I've had a great time the last two weeks. I've been in my element, making myself some clothes. I haven't got to do that over the last few years. So listen, pop on over and have a look at my trouser sew along. Yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Give them a go. If you like baggy pants, they're the ones for you. Baggy, comfortable pants. Okay, see you next time. I'll just get off my pedestal again so that I can hold this up to the screen and show you. Oh, move. Ooh. There you go. Right, so this is the pattern I used. Can you see it? There you go. We'll get it up on the screen anyway. Now, I'm on the search for a pattern similar. I have been everywhere to try and find, look on the internet for a pattern similar so that I can do a sew along for this jacket and also show you how to attach fur like this. Obviously this is fur fabric and not the real thing. We wouldn't be doing that. So if anybody knows anywhere of a pattern, it must be a drop shoulder and not a raglan sleeve. And just boxy, really. Just a very, I can make it boxy, I can change the pattern. I can show you how to change the pattern, but it must be one that's got a collar that comes up and not reveres or anything like that, or lapels. And also, as I say, it's got to be a very loose fit, very loose fit. Okay, so I've almost finished, but as I said before, you win some and you lose some.